Okay, this video is for buyers. So if you are buying real estate right now or anytime in the near future, I wanted to tell you about a thing that changed, and I'm sure you've probably heard about it, but it's good to hear it from somebody that's in the business all the time. So there is now a law, a requirement that we have to have a buyer's agency agreement signed before we open a door. What does that mean? That means that an agent, you can't just call up your friend and say, hey, I want to go see this house. You have to sign an agreement with them that says that they're representing you to purchase this house if you decide to do so. So why is that important? Well, online leads are huge, obviously. You can look up something on Zillow, you can look up something on Realtor.com, Homes.com, whatever medium you use, and you can click talk to an agent. When you do that, if you want to go see the property, that agent's going to send you paperwork to sign. They should, if they're doing things legally. And if you sign that document to go see that property, you are then locked into whatever term that contract says in it, and you have to work with that agent. Now, can you get out of that? Yes, you can. But if you want somebody to advocate for you, or you're already using an agent, you don't want to sign that with some random person from Zillow or Realtor, because they don't know your situation, they don't know what you're looking for. You need to be working with the agent that you choose to work with. So it's really important that consumers know that, because it is a change in the industry. Used to, you could just go see whatever you wanted to and you weren't locked in. But now we have to sign an agreement with you. And what that agreement says is basically, this is my agent, they're working for me, and we're looking for a house, and this is how much they charge. And that's all stipulated in that contract. Now, compensation questions can be handled by each individual agent. You know, you may have to get some clarity on that. Each agent's going to charge what they want to charge and what they do charge for their business and what makes sense to them. And a lot of times you can get that paid for by the seller at closing, but all of the compensation questions you could talk to with your individual agent. But the important thing to know is that before a door is opened, you have to sign a piece of paper. So if you are not signing that piece of paper, that agent is not following the law, and so red flag. If you are signing that piece of paper, you are agreeing to work with that person for a certain period of time, whatever is stipulated in the contract. So just make sure that you're aware of that. Make sure if you want to see something, reach out to the agent that you're working with, or that you want to work with. I promise you that agent will go out of their way to find a way for you to get into that house. When I'm out of town, I have friends that are agents that will show things for me, and that way I know my client's protected. Honestly, for me, it's not about money. Obviously, this is how I make my living, and it's important to be able to make money because, you know, Rhett says we're poor. But for me, it's about the agent advocating on your behalf. So if you go to a listing agent, it's fine, you can do that, but you just have to remember that listing agent is representing the seller. And so if you want representation for yourself and for your money, you need to have an agent that you're working with exclusively, that they know your situation, they know what's important to you, they know what's going to, you know, come up on an inspection that's not okay, they know what terms you need in order to get to the closing table. So going to the listing agent's not always the best idea. So keep that in mind. It's kind of scary to sign a buyer's agent agreement. I understand that, because money is discussed on this form, but talk to your agent about that. I mean, I can't say every single transaction I've had the sellers pay, but a good majority of them, I put my compensation into the contract, and my people are very happy with that. The seller is paying me my commission. They're getting the house they want. They get representation that is unbiased representation. I am only representing them in the transaction. I know what they want. I know what they need. I know what makes sense for them. Most of the time, they're friends and family or referrals of friends and family that I'm working with. And it's important that I'm advocating for their cause. So think about that as you go into this buying season. If you guys have questions about how that works, please call me. It's really important that consumers know what they're signing. And if you ever are given a contract, I don't care where you're at, who you're working with. If you're working with another agent, I don't care. If you have questions about what you're signing, you can always send it to me and I'll review it for you and tell you what that looks like. Not an attorney, but if it's on a standard form, I can tell you what that standard form kind of means. So happy hunting this spring market, you guys. It's getting fun.